I'm just saying, I don't know exactly how the parachute gets on the puppies yet. We're working on that. There's some technology behind the scenes. I'm working with DARPA. But in the meantime... We were talking about this a little bit in the previous segment, DC, but charity live streams. You've done quite a few of those in the past, and I was curious about that because I don't really even know the process that you have to go through in order to like set that up, talk to the charities. When did you originally start doing charity live streams? How long ago?
And why? Why would you do such a thing?
And why? That was also a follow-up question, but yes.
Why I started was, it was the way I could give something back to people or have people enjoy for something. I'm always a believer in community. I think community media is important. Charity streaming sort of allowed me to do the things I think I'm kind of good at, and it happened to be streaming and things, and so it was, I want to say 3-4 years ago now, maybe longer. No, it would have to be longer because it's 2024. So 5-6 years ago now, as I math, there was a group, and they were focused on charity streams. And I had been a moderator for a time, and I got part of this group. They're like, yeah, we're just doing, picking charities and doing that, and that's how my first show came about. Someone else was producing because I didn't know the stuff at the time, and that was my first live campaign, but was always, looking to support a charity out there. And then eventually I got to the point of producing things, and then I'm like, well, I like doing charity streams. It's fantastic, and you don't even really have to approach the charity because Tiltify is an amazing service, and they have charities listed there, and you can just go, okay, we're going to support this charity. I like this cause. I've checked them out. They do great work, and so I make a Tiltify campaign for that charity, and that way they get all the money. I don't have to worry about it, which was a big thing. I'm like, I don't want to have to think about trying to get, where the bucket of money goes, and then how to get that to the charity.
Right.
Yeah.
A service like Tiltify just takes care of all that for you. You pop the link into chat and go, okay, donate here.
Yeah. All the money stuff's out of your hands. Don't have to touch
it.
Right.
That would be a headache, I'm sure, trying to be like, money, where does it go? How do I deal with it?
Yeah.
Gotta move it from point A to point B to point C, and oh my god, it went to point 7.
Yeah, we didn't even know numbers were involved in this, but now we're here. Yeah, exactly. Point 100. Where'd that come from? So that's good. So Tiltify kind of takes away all of that back end stuff so that you don't have to worry about that. So now you're concentrating on the live stream itself. Now, the question I have is, when you're doing this for different charities, are there certain requirements that you have, like in terms of the time frame that you're doing, or is this really just stuff that you decide when you set this up?
This is the sort of stuff you decide. I will start the campaign. I will publicly tweet out the campaign maybe a few days up to a week before the show comes on, but I've already had that URL and everything planned out for, towards the beginning of that month, or that 3 weeks in, or whatever the time frame happens to be. And then I tweet out and say, hey, if you can't make the live stream, donate here.
Right.
And then if you can't make the live stream, here's all the details.
When you get to that point, do you start to think about theming your game based on the charity that you're doing it for? Do you think to yourself, okay, we're doing the charity, and it's to keep puppies, to allow puppies to get go into a parachute and they get to parachute off. I got to make a campaign that's about puppies.
So you're doing a charity about puppies. So you're gonna do a campaign about puppies? Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah. Why can't we have the puppy campaign, Alex? I'm just saying that I'm trying to set up a charity in a live stream right now of an undisclosed nature. And I want to have ideas about how we're going to do it. I'm just saying, I don't know exactly how the parachute gets on the puppies yet. We're working on that. There's some technology behind the scenes. I'm working with DARPA. But in the meantime, for you personally, don't even start, Alex. Anyway, out of curiosity, though, is there thought behind the process of like building a one shot or something like that when you've picked your charity?
There's a little bit of thought of, okay, there's topics that this thing covers. Is that something? Do I want to hit on any of those, or those things are void? Am I even qualified to talk about any of that stuff?
Sure.
Or do I just want to make a fun game and realize my own struggles with the thing and just have the charity be a side thing and give everyone a fun time? And I'm usually on the side giving everyone a fun time. And so I try to build things that way. Again, I already kind of have the story in mind and the charity like a month before I even think about getting that stream online.
Sure.
Yeah. Here's a question from me. Have you done, or do you think it's possible to do a live stream where you, for charity, where you also have the ability to let the people in the audience, say, donate money to have certain things happen in the game? I know I've seen people do it with other games, maybe not RPGs like this, but I know there's ways you can be like, oh yes, here's $5, throw a giant monster at them.
Yep.
Which may not be ideal.
Tiltify, you can set up donation incentives, and you just have your Tiltify up in a tab or another window, and when that donation comes in, usually other people are looking at that too, other players, and so they can say, hey, $5 donation in, so I get advantage, or someone gets advantage, and that's part of the campaign I build ahead of time is, okay, what happens at these dollar amounts? And you gotta be kind of reasonable with it and know your audience, what they're willing to donate usually, and I don't usually go above $50 because then, that can be way too much for people. But, if you have neat things in 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, in, $35 ranges, that's usually pretty good for a lot of people and can get a bunch of donations. And I also had a donation on the Electrum Chef parody stream that we talked about earlier, where I set up a prize wheel. And the prize wheel was for an in-game effect. It was called the prize wheel, and so a donation would come in and say, okay, whatever happens on this prize wheel affects you, or there were a couple things that would affect everyone. And I had it set up so I could just hit a button, the wheel would spin, it popped up on screen, wheel would spin, whatever it landed on happened, whether that was advantage, disadvantage. There was 3 or 4 fireballs on the wheel.
Jeez.
And fireball hit everybody. Fireball came up a lot.
Yeah. This sounds like a very typical D&D experience.
Donate $1 to cause someone to re-roll the last roll they made.
Yeah, exactly.
And they just keep donating $1. $50 later, they've done 50 re-rolls, and it's like, alright, well, this is bottlenecking this game.
I feel like I would end up being a targeted player. It's like, we're gonna make Nathan do this.
That's not a bad thing if it's for money.
No, that's true. That's true. It's just make Nathan live in hell. And
actually, that's a different question. Is
money.
In a charity stream, is it good to have players not necessarily be polarizing? You don't want people to be polarizing, obviously, but is it good to have players have their characters be adversarial, perhaps, so that some people will be like, oh, I really love this character, I want to give them advantage, and some people might be like, oh, this character, I really love to hate them, kind of deal. I want to make them suffer. The heal. Give them disadvantage. Make them fall prone, or as we learned, supine.
Yes, they're supine now.
That depends on your story and what you want to be careful with, because usually you don't have as much time as a full series, right? You have 2-3 hours to get through a story, and so extra player going back and forth. Maybe you can have some of that. Maybe you can have some one-upsmanship type things going on, and that's fine. But also, you have a smaller amount of time to develop everything going in.
Do you notice that certain players more attention gets paid to them by people that are like donating, like, oh, I really like this character, I really like this, personality, and so like I really want them to do something rather than others. And is that necessarily good for the format of building a live play?
People are going to donate for what they want, and that's fine, as long as you, as the DM, GM, ST, whatever two-letter abbreviation you want to give it, are giving the players at the table a chance to spotlight themselves. As long as you're still rotating around the players and giving them the opportunities they need to kind of shine, giving everyone a little moment here and there, whatever the audience does is fine, because it's all for charity. And as long as if that gives more money to the charity, yay.
You're still trying to run a game, but you understand if it has to get derailed a bit, because that is kind of the point of it.
Yeah, you have a little more audience interaction with that, and that's kind of why they're more fun. And for me, I do really, really strange things in my charity streams, typically like wearing a beard of cold cuts. How many people have actually done that?
You.
Right.
I want to say Lady Gaga did that at one point.
No, she wore a dress of meat.
But, it came from DC's meat beard, though.
I don't know if that's true. It would have been great had you been like, beard of cold cuts, also it's edible. I'm just eating the beard. But it probably would have been a little bit gross at that point.
Oh, yeah. Man, hairball. You know what? That's actually a really good tier to have for people to donate to. Make DC eat the cold cuts from the beard. But you'd have to reveal that before it starts as a tier, so it kind of loses all of its charm once you pull it out. Here, welcome to Electrum Chef.
One thing I did want to talk about that been in the back of my mind, and this also applies to charity streams and things.
Sure.
Because it's a live stream and you're not recording, if a player has a problem, you've all heard of safety tools and the X cards and everything, use those. And if something comes up, don't be afraid to pause the stream, because people are important. Your players are important. Their mental well-being is way more important than a game. So if something comes up during a charity stream or whatever, have a BRB screen to go, have something else to go to and deal with the players. If it's an extreme thing, if it's something you can deal in background chat, do that, but also kind of let the audience know and take care of yourself and your players first.
Sure, absolutely.
That's actually a really, really good thing to mention too, because it's not something we would have necessarily asked or thought about. But yeah, safety tools are great for that exact reason. That
actually brings up a question for me is, I know just from doing a couple of these that we have a little bit of time beforehand, but I'm gonna guess that you don't have as much time as you would normally have with a session 0 to really go over with players any of those tools. Do you try to at least get some baseline to just ask the players, okay, are there things that you need to tell me or know about before we get into this? We have a little bit of time right here to set that up.
That's usually a couple days before, or at least sometime within that week before.
Yeah.
Because people are busy and have schedules, and so you try to make a session 0 fit for as many people as you can. And it's either going to be, I am giving you all a link to this Google survey because someone has made a Google survey for this. Please fill this out, and this is what we'll all agree to. Or you do a separate Zoom call or whatever meet you want.
Sure.
Ahead of time, and that's part of the lead up to the stream itself. Sure. You have that covered before that 30 minutes before you go on air.
Do you find from doing that you dodge some bullets when we get to the day of? Has that happened before, where you okay, I gotta make a couple changes, or I gotta be mindful of something that I wasn't previously aware of?
Yeah, it's stuff I think about, I take out, I change, whatever. I know someone who has a fear of spiders, so I don't put spiders in the game.
Perfectly good idea.
Fair.
No sharks for me.
All the sharks for you, Nathan.
Actually, I would say you can put sharks in the game. It's fine as long as I don't have to be in a game, a video game where there are sharks. That's the only thing.
Sharks all the way down.
That's
you're the only person we don't care about these safety rules for. Nathan doesn't want sharks. What? All the sharks?
All the sharks? I actually can get away with this because here's something fun. Behind the scenes stuff for me is when I was originally doing Rift Hunters and we did like a little practice session. We did like a session 0 and a practice session. I made a little scenario for them where they were on like they were on a research vessel in the middle of the ocean, and the monsters that they were fighting were called snarks, and they were just really snarky sharks that would like just sit in the water and make like just like really like sarcastic comments to them, and they would fight those. So I'm not averse to having the shark be something in a role-playing game. I'm more worried about when you get into an open world survival game and they say, here's a shark in the ocean that you have to deal. Not getting in that water. Done with this game. Sorry, kids. Not happening. Anyway, what were we talking about? We were talking about charity
streams.
Yeah, we were talking about charity streams and how they're all about sharks. But
what I'm hearing is Nathan wants to play a shark game for charity.
All the players are sharks.
No, I meant like a video game.
Oh, yeah, no, that's great. You're gonna make me play like the Shark Attack games or something, or Depth.
No.
Thanks for that.
No.
Just watch me freak out on air.
That's what people come here for.
For 24 Oh, it's a 24-hour stream? Great. Got to make so much money for charity, Nathan. Oh, better. But
Nathan hasn't been on camera for 6 hours. Where'd he go?
Where'd he go? I don't know. The sharks are the star now. So that's good. We kind of get all of that stuff out of the way, in the moment. What are you thinking about, like, when you're taking care of the audience itself? They're, interacting with you, chat's going, you're getting a lot of donations in. What do you have to be conscious of when it comes to the audience participation and how much attention or priority you're going to be giving to them in terms of the stream?
So your main job is to have your players buy in.
Yeah.
And if you have your players in, your audience is going to find that entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
And when to pay attention to the audience is, are you using a sound effect? Is that getting annoying to them? Can they hear things? Can they... they're tech support. They're there to have a good time. They also want to, if they can, donate or at least make aware of the cause you're going for.
Right.
Because having that, sometimes you can only, spread the link. So having that link go off in chat and being able to do that, encouraging them to do so, and to take time to donate and put in little plugs, encouraging audience to donate every now and then, and just to get a feel of how things are going. Are they laughing? Are there smiley faces in chat? Are they feeling tense if it's a tension moment? Last time I had, again, Electrum Chef, because that was the most recent thing I did. I had some prizes in mind, and I had people who donated some, and then some people go, could I give away this? I make these things. How about I'm like, sure. You want them to contact you? And so that's perfect too, is just talking about prizes that come up that you have the bandwidth to deal with.
So I have a scenario for you. You're running a charity stream. You've done all your prep, all your telling people you're going to do it, and you start the stream and nobody shows up. The players are there, but perhaps you have like maybe 1 or 2 people in the audience. What do you do to help spread that and get people engaged and get people on? Because I know that's not necessarily in your control, but what are some things like you would do if you're like, we've got like 2 people in the chat?
Yeah, well, try to mitigate that by having talking about this charity stream at least again prep a week beforehand, right? But if only 2 people show up, only 2 people show up. I mean, I still want to do an entertaining show. I'm there to do a show and raise money, and whatever dollar I can get is fine, because if it's entertaining, it was entertaining for those 1 or 2 people.
Sure.
And that's valuable too.
Mm-hmm.
And if it gets $5 or if it gets hundreds, thousands of dollars, I've done charity streams that have run the gamut from a few $100s to, I think the biggest one was might have been getting close to $10,000 for one thing. Yeah, I was just producing that one, and that was all for people on the screen mostly. But any money for the charity is good, even $1, $5, and we're all here to not only support the charity but also have a good time. And so if no one shows up, I'm at least going to run a game. I'm going to have the charity go for a little longer, so if people can catch the VOD on YouTube or later on my Twitch channel, they can watch it and still have an opportunity to donate, and maybe get a few more donations in that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But otherwise, because you don't know what will happen after the live stream, you make it as entertaining a product as possible. And then you can go, okay, we ran this game. It's a pretty good game. Please check it out. Here's the VOD. You can still donate to the charity here and check it out and spread the word as much as you can.
Absolutely.
And that's really all you can do.
Do you get your players or the people that are in the game with you to also spread that as well, I assume?
Yeah, I ask the players. Yeah, I send out an email to all the players and here's all the links. This is some of what we're doing. Here's, I didn't spring the prize wheel on them. I said there's going to be a prize wheel. I didn't tell them what was on the prize wheel, but I said, yeah, there's going to be this prize wheel. People will donate. They'll spin, and then whatever comes up will affect either you or the entire group.
If you ever wanted to make Alex or Nathan do something in a video, this is the perfect opportunity.
See, I'm thinking what you do is you give your players incentive. Be like, hey, we're going to do a thing, and each of you try to get people to donate beforehand to give you a bonus to your character on the stream. So, if you come in, I've got $500 worth of donations already, your character gets, a +5 sword or something like that. Just things to give you little bonuses to make it just more interesting. And encourage people to be like, I like this person a lot. Let's give them a huge edge, or maybe even a detriment. You got a limp.
Sorry, the rocks fell on you.
Game.
That's what
that could be an interesting way to encourage both the players trying to get people to help and also encourage not competitiveness as much as just interesting stuff going on. I think maybe that could be a fun thing. No idea if it would work, but it'd be fun.
No. I am curious though, DC, have you ever had a case where the players will donate money to a charity live stream to make their character do something cool? Because I feel like that would be a me move.
No, I've had players donate to affect other players.
Oh, good. Great.
Or just donate. That's fun.
Nathan's just selfish like that.
But you don't have to tell the audience or the other players who donated that $5 for that thing.
You just
no, Nathan would.
They can say anonymous in their donation, or you can tell them, or if everyone can see who donated, they can see it themselves. But
yeah, and then
Nathan would be playing the bard.
You do a Jim
and
Halpert.
I'm donating $5 to give myself advantage right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's $5 more for the charity. Why do I care?
Yeah, absolutely.
To be fair to Nathan, if that's what you did, that would be very much playing into that bard character.
Oh, absolutely, exactly. I like the idea. I like the idea of a bard that has his little case out in front of him to get donations, but he just keeps taking money and putting it in himself.
He just reaches into the case, pulls out of the coins, and then tosses it back in the coins when someone's looking. Look,
we're doing well.
Someone gave me
That would be a Max move, yeah. That would definitely be
You've got the cleric who's sitting there talking to the camera as if it's God, and going, here's some tithe for you, please give me a blessing.
DC, I guess the question I wanted to wrap up the segment on was just if people were thinking about getting involved with one of the charity live streams, maybe not necessarily running it, but where would they be able to find out what live streams are going on? How would they dip their toes in the water to really get involved with charity live streams?
Sometimes people put out casting notices on Twitter, so follow people in the TTRPG space on Twitter. You can even reach out to me, and if I have a charity stream coming up, then I've seen some of your work, and I can add you to the pool of people, and if I think you're a fit for that stream, be great.
Okay.
Speaking of,
yeah.
Another great place to post charity live streams if you have them. For you, DC, we have a great promotion channel. Feel free to use that in our Discord sometime. Just be like, hey, do a little charity live stream. Come join us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hopefully someone will join.
Yeah, Discords are great. There's a lot of Discords with promote a thing channels.
Oh yeah.
So if you're looking for people,
Absolutely.
get in that community and start chatting. Let them know who you are. Build friendships and say, hey, doing this thing for charity. Anyone interested? And you just gotta start asking.
Yeah.
I prefer building walls personally, but
Well, all in all, you're just another brick.
My name is Brick.
Borderlands was a cool game, right?
Not that Brick.
No. Good to know. And I guess Alex kind of just promoted this kind of at the end, but if you are in our Discord, we do have a promotions tab for some of the people that are around, like DC. Alex is thinking now.
I'm just pondering.
There's a beard stroking going on right now, and I'm very concerned.
Listen, as the beardiest member of this podcast right now, I am allowed to stroke the beard.
You're close. Okay. Alright, that's fair. Anyway, while Alex figures out what to do with his beard, let us know in the comments down below if you've ever checked out any charity streams and what elements you liked in them. Because we're always looking for good ideas on what we could do. So just let us know in the comments down below.
On what we could do?
On what they can do.
Oh.
I believe in them. But I feel like it's a universal us. I'm using the royal we.
The royal we.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it.
It's a gold-plated toilet for the royal we.
The gold-plated porcelain throne.
Yes, exactly. Don't let the corgis drink from it.